All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays, coming to you live this Thursday morning on the East Coast before markets open, uh, November 19th. Wow, November is flying. The thumbnails or the backgrounds are coming together. We have other cities already. Can't wait to start using them. We got some cool ones, more cool ones coming. And of course, they will be tweeted out next week for others to use as well. These are absolutely awesome. I love them. I wish I had better lighting. Unfortunately, I don't. All right. Let's go to, we're going straight to the charts. There's really nothing else to say. I sent out my political tweet early this morning. And I'm losing a lot of followers, but you know what? Some things just need to be said. And most people agree with me on the masks now. We'll see what happens with the election results. Let's go to screen share. No announcements. Nothing's going on. Man, major things. Oh, shit. Actually, there is one announcement. It's on my Twitter feed. So in about 45 minutes, I will be doing a show with our old buddy. Copy link to tweet. I'm not going to dox my... let's try not to dox my search history because I do that way too often. So here we go. And I'm just going to drag the tab over. So here's my only announcement. In about 45 minutes, I will be doing a show here. I have no idea where it's going to stream. But check out Crypto Man Ran. I know he gets a bad rap for being such a shitcoiner and recommending an unreasonable amount of shitcoins on CNBC Africa. But I guess he started a new show. He wanted me to be a part of his first show. And I will be on that show. So check that out at the top of the hour. So that's it. Only announcement. Okay. We are on the tail end of the week that happens the week before an MRI weekly top. So we have 3 days to go, 3 days, 10 hours to go. So we have moved past the 50-day point, the 50% point of the week. And I'm not expecting a catastrophic crash this week. So I am expecting next week to give you a clean MRI top. Now, the interesting thing is next week's MRI top, will it give us a higher intra-week price than current week? Now, keep in mind, this week could still give us a higher intra-week price. But the big question is, will next week give us a new high in this momentum? We're not going to go to the all-time high. I mean, it's possible. It's kind of unlikely to go to the all-time high next week, but it's certainly possible. Look at how much we moved this week. This week, we opened at 15.9, and we went as high as 18.5. So we moved over $3,000 this week. And we don't need to even move half that to break the all-time high. I think we have to literally move half that. So if we move $1,500 next week and we go from 18,000 to 19.5, we would have broken the all-time high, which I believe is around 19.5 or 19.6. It's 19.666. Nice. So we only need to do about half as much rise next week than this versus this week to break the all-time high. I just think we are going up a little too far and a little too fast. It's possible we keep going to the moon. But realistically speaking, I have started exiting my bullish positions starting yesterday, and I will probably take some more off the table today, especially if we go above 18,000 during trading hours. So right now, I am looking to exit the higher we go because I'm still, I'd rather exit my trades in this vicinity, and then I can always go back in when we break the all-time high. Quick look at the monthly chart. I've been using both Heikin-Ashi and regular candles. These are regular candles. As you can see, we are also on an MRI warning and the MRI top is coming next month. Just like I said with the weekly scale, will we have a new swing high next month as opposed to this month? Too early to tell. At the moment, I am leaning to the fact that we have topped on a monthly basis, and we're probably will pull back a little bit for the rest of the year going into year end. Same thing on a weekly chart. I think while it's possible to still break this high this week, I think it's less likely to break this high next week. I think next week we are more likely not to break whatever top is this week, and it's possible this week's top has already been printed. The daily chart is literally on the MRI right now, today. And this is, once again, the same exact fractal on a daily chart. Yesterday was the warning arrow, which does disappear if the MRI arrow officially shows up. So if the MRI arrow doesn't show up, the warning arrow remains for the rest of time unless TradingView data changes. Okay, so I'm not sure why, like when I'm looking at my own YouTube, like the resolution is not there. I am using my 4K resolution on my monitor, but somehow in screen share, it doesn't come through as a 4K resolution monitor, which is unfortunate. I also can't seem to stream in high quality, and that's a Zoom problem, not my problem. Again, unfortunately, I use Zoom for its simplicity to stream. I know I can stream through OBS and other programs, but that really complicates my life to the point where I probably won't do streams. So here is the same thing that I was talking about on a weekly and monthly charts. Yesterday was the warning, and this is a pretty nasty candle that usually marks tops. This is the kind of candle you get at the tops or bottoms. And this candle was also had two extensions ending. And the question is, will this MRI candle create a new swing high? And I don't think so. I mean, the 24-hour day is already almost halfway in. And actually, it is halfway in. And the probability of today going above 18,500 is very, very small. So here we have a situation where the warning candle marked the top. Now, this is a bullish candle. This is not the kind of candle to panic and short the market by any means. I am going to use this candle. If this candle goes higher, if this candle breaks this morning's high, and we're going to look at lower level timeframes as well, I will be exiting. I trade in GBTC. I trade in a way that does not pick up a tax liability. So I like trading in my retirement accounts. I have self-directed IRAs. I have self-directed Roth IRAs as well. And that's where I do my trading. I haven't been doing much trading at all, but I was pretty heavily invested in GBTC in those accounts. But those accounts aren't huge because I could only, put in so much into a retirement account. And I started taking my exit yesterday. And I took my exit yesterday at a lower price than right now. So I am happy to take it. But GBTC price could be different. It's possible I caught a nice premium yesterday, which may not exist today because more people are selling overall and the price is down. But for the first time in 4 weeks, we will have a lower swing high. Now, we don't get 4 to 5 bullish days in a row very often. It happened here. But I'm going to count as of this candle, not as of that candle. That candle is more like a neutral candle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish candles before a little bit of a pullback and then consolidation. And we now had 1, 2, 3, and this is the fourth candle of an upswing. I like it. I got in several occasions. I got out on this big candle partially, but I still had some. And then I added back in on the break of the triangle to the position that I had before. And now I am exiting. Probably, it depends on how this plays out over the next today and tomorrow. It's possible I'm going to exit the majority of my position, if not all of my position, and not risk it through the weekend. I can always go back in Monday. But remember, Monday, I'm going to have a weekly MRI top. And if I wait another full week, now we're getting into the holidays. Now we're getting into Thanksgiving. Wait, isn't Thanksgiving next week? Checking my calendar. Yep, Thanksgiving is next week. So next week is the last week. So now next week is a holiday week. So volume is going to slow down. And that's an MRI top. And then the next 2 days later, we have a new month, which gives me a monthly MRI top. So it's going to be very difficult for me to enter. Once I exit all of my bullish exposure over the next, week or so, starting yesterday, it's going to be very hard for me to get back in because of my TA. This is my TA. Like, you guys don't have to use the same TA as I do. My TA tells me to be very careful and get out of the market and get back in later. And that's what I'm doing. Now, we have to separate a HODL position from a trading position. This is a trading position. Your HODL position should not be touched. There is a difference between a HODL position and a trading position. This channel is meant to do two things, and it pisses off the other half of the people. One part of the Tone Vays YouTube channel is to educate you that Bitcoin is, well, let me not speak for others. To me, Bitcoin is the greatest asset to hold for the long term. Just like the senator from Wyoming has said, it's the best store of value. I think it's the best medium of exchange as well, even though it's not always fast, it's not always cheap, and it's not always private. I believe Bitcoin is the best medium of exchange because of its properties of censorship resistance. I also think Bitcoin is the best store of value. I think Bitcoin is the best money in the world that should appreciate in value and increase your standard of living. I'm not going to say make you rich. I'm going to say increase your standard of living. Now, that has absolutely nothing to do with this current part of my YouTube channel, which is educating about proper trading. And proper trading tells me to get the hell out of my bullish speculative positions, because my HODL positions are not speculative. They are life positions. Okay. Now, lower level time frames. This is consolidation. Now, the longer this consolidates, the more bullish things actually look. This is a weird situation here. So I'm almost tempted to, oh, this is a 1 hour chart. Okay. What about the 4 hour chart? So let's use the 4 hour chart. And I'm going to draw a triangle. It's hard to draw a triangle. There. The best I can do. And this triangle is coming to an end soon. Now let's move to the hourly chart and see what the triangle looks like. Hey, it looks actually pretty good on the 1 hour chart as well. Obviously, this right here is outside the range of a triangle. It looks like we're breaking out. So right now, this looks great. And here's the deal. If this can break out, we're already above the prior swing high based on hourly closes. If we can break out above this area on an hourly close basis, I would then believe that we will get new swing high and possibly even break 19,000. Which means we're dangerously close to breaking the all-time high. So this is the line. Do I think it's likely that we're going to break this line? The answer is no. I still think that it's slightly more likely to turn down right here, right now. And that's why normally I would buy this line. This is how I normally trade. Normally I buy the breakout. Normally I would even buy the current candle because we're breaking out of what looks to be a triangle. But I'm not doing that now. And the reason why I'm not doing that now is because all higher level time frames are telling me that we have topped. So instead of buying that line like I normally would 80% of the time, I'm actually selling this line. This is where I would want to take exit on my bullish trades. It's a little strange concept where the same exact trading plan, the same exact trading level that is used to enter a position in one direction 80% of the time is now used to exit a position in the same exact way. So it's normally I would buy this line, and right now I would sell this line. It's a little weird concept, but that's trading. And that's almost it. By the way, I do have another show to be on. I mentioned it earlier. Crypto Man Rand's show is going to be at 10 a.m. Apparently, he has a live call-in. Something in here. Live here. You can call in live to speak to them. I have absolutely no idea how that works at all. So I guess look at his Twitter and figure it out. But this is what I'll be doing at the top of the hour. So in 30 minutes. And I want to log into my trading account, which I'm actually logged into already, but I do have to make a trade, and I'm not going to do that on live air. And by make a trade, I mean potentially alternate. I have my stop losses set on those GBTC positions, but I want to check them, and maybe I'll just exit at a market order, depending on what the price of Bitcoin is in 20 minutes when I get off this stream. So that's pretty much it. Bitcoin dominance is continuing to rise, and we are on an MRI top right there. Something is wrong. I think I need to update. That the color seems off. I think I'm using a wrong MRI here. Let's try this again. Yep, there it is. Color. I knew the color was off. I was using an old version. And I need to uncheck indicator arguments, and that would clean that part up. By the way, those that are using it, and you see a bunch of numbers, to see right here, show indicator values. If I turn that on, you get all of these numbers, and that's very, very annoying for this indicator, for momentum reversal indicator. So I turn that off, and then if you want to not display this stuff, you also need to turn off indicator arguments. And now it's just a very clean version that doesn't take up anything on your screen. Shitcoins are dying, not fat. Oh, gold. What did I say? What have I been saying? Gold, this is very bearish for gold. I remain bearish for gold. And this giant candle kind of knocked it all out. The candle also took place on extension B, which is one of the extensions that I really pay attention to. And look at this. Gold daily topped on extension B and C combined. And now this is gold daily, and that's where the top was. And this top was in August. And look how far we've fallen since that top. I know gold is in Bitcoin, but this just goes to show that the opening of that day till the closing, till the current price right now, that is a 10% drop in gold, which is pretty damn substantial. But it's not even the 10% drop. It's the fact that it's been 4 months, all of August, September, October, and almost all of November. So that's 4 months. And if you stayed with your gold long for 4 months, not only did you lose 10%, your money has been allocated to gold for no reason whatsoever for 4 months. Okay, so it's also an opportunity loss of doing something else with that money. Now, if I go to Bitcoin on a daily chart, same thing with what happened on this candle. Well, look, it's the combination of extension B and extension C, just like gold had on its high back in August. So I do find these extensions to be useful, but more B and C extensions than extension A. There's only 3 of them. But B and C I pay attention to. And then gold, once again, see, you can have the A right there, didn't do much. But the next time there was an extension, it was extension B right here. and boom, down we go. Of course, the extension B didn't cause it. It just happens to be, could be a coincidence. There was an MRI warning right there that got you into a bullish trade, and then extension B told you to, hey, you may want to be careful here. This is terrible. This is an ugly looking chart. You have a lower swing high. You had a bunch of lower swing highs other than whatever the hell happened over here. Probably had to do with the election, and it had to do with the election, first week of November, and that was over. And now gold is back to pulling back. I would be very interested in gold at around 1750. That is my current target. S&P is pulling back as well, but that's okay. This is a great area for a pullback. If it stays above this red line at 30, as long as it stays above 3,500, there's really not that much of a concern for the S&P 500. We continue to look at the shitcoin BCH. I'm really waiting for it to go below 1% of the price of Bitcoin, which means down here. That is the irrelevance line. The moment your shitcoin, the moment this particular shitcoin falls below right there, 0.099, the moment we go below this line, that's it. That is the irrelevance line, assuming this thing is still relevant. I think it's still relevant only because they own Bitcoin.com and they continue to, I'll make it pink. And they'll continue to, fool people into thinking they're Bitcoin. So as long as the propaganda machine is out, this is relevant and concerning. But this is the line. This is the irrelevance line, the complete irrelevance line. But right now, they're on an MRI bottom, and there we go. I am paying attention to the blocks. I continue to wait. I know I shouldn't have to refresh this, but I do anyway. I'm really waiting for the difficulty to reset on Bitcoin ABC. People said, hey, Tony, you should call it Bcash A and Bcash B, but then I'm not going to know which one is Bcash A and Bcash B. It gets very confusing. Looks like Via BTC is starting to mine some blocks. Look at that. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in a single hour. Interesting. This block is 16 megabytes in size. I didn't know they went up to 16. I thought 8 was their limit, but potentially 16. Wow, look at that. Interesting. Very interesting. So I'm waiting for the difficulty to reset, and then I want to see miners flip back and forth, and the price of each one even out, similar to how BSV's price evened out with Bcash price. So I would be very interested in that, and I should probably pull it up, because if this thing can steal half the market cap of this, then the irrelevance line will quickly be broken, because then they'll both be less than 1%. And that helps Bitcoin. I'm all about helping Bitcoin. Oh boy, Tone, how do you run a full node? What are the benefits of running a node? There are ridiculous benefits of running a node. And how do you run it? I'm not the right person to give you a tutorial, unfortunately. So probably next year, probably as this as the shitcoins continue to die, as the bull market goes on, I don't know what value my YouTube channel has at that point. And I do want to, all of this year, I wanted to start a new podcast called Understanding Bitcoin. And in that podcast, we would teach people, literally, we would answer that question along with many other questions, like why run a Lightning node? Why use Lightning? How to use Lightning? Why do we have liquid sidechain? How do you use liquid sidechain? Why should you run a full node? How do you run a full node? I would love to do a podcast called Understanding Bitcoin, because I have a conference called Understanding Bitcoin. And somewhere between me being not motivated, me being lazy, and it being a lot of work, and it costing me a lot of money to do something like that because these graphics behind me are not cheap, and I would have to buy additional equipment. There's a decent cost involved. Now you can accuse me of being cheap, but you can only spend so much of your own money to help the community until a point saying, why? I'd rather just hodl my, whatever value I have. But these are very important questions. And the best I can do at the moment is point you to my article in my blog titled "What is Bitcoin Decentralization and Why?" What is decentralization and why Bitcoin stands alone? And then right down here in the reference section, the stuff about nodes. Money is a social construct, and that's why you should run a Bitcoin full node. Amazing resource. Understanding the difference between hard forks and soft forks. And here's a guide on running your own node, but this shows you how to run a node. It doesn't explain to you why you should run a node. And understanding why you should run a node is probably more important than anything else in Bitcoin. If there's one thing, and I don't stress this enough, and it's really unfortunate. I'm going to cut the screen share only because maybe we should make a 2-minute video on it. The understanding on why you should run your own full node is probably the most important thing to understand about Bitcoin. I think me saying this could be the push I need to start the Understanding Bitcoin podcast, because I honestly believe that the not understanding the answer to the question why you should run a full node is why you become a shitcoin scammer. And that includes everyone that's ever started a shitcoin, including Vitalik Buterin. So I think that the reason why Ethereum exists is because Vitalik never answered or understood the answer to the following question: why you should run your own full node. So if you can answer the question and understand why you should run your own full node, by default, you are smarter than Vitalik Buterin when it comes to blockchains. It's by default, you are. You may not be as good of a programmer, you may not be as good of a writer, but you are smarter than Vitalik in your understanding of what Satoshi built and why Bitcoin is important. Just by answering that question, why you should run a full node. Now, whether you take the time or an opportunity or to actually run your own full node properly is a completely different question. But understanding why you should is the answer. It's almost like saying, do you understand why your private communication needs to be private? And most people understand it. Most people understand that you should encrypt everything you do, every message you send, even if it's like hi to your brother. It should be encrypted, and no government agency should monitor that message. We all understand that. The question is, very, very few people do it because it's difficult. Now, encrypting all of your communication is incredibly challenging because you also have to get the person on the other side of your communication to encrypt it just as vigilantly as you in order for that encryption to actually be useful. When it comes to running a node, that is not the case. You are in control as a one-sided party. So, but the understanding is the same. The understanding as to why you should run a node. And once you understand why you should run a node, take the time, take the opportunity to run that node properly with privacy, validating your own transactions, and because you don't need anyone on the other side of that transaction. So it becomes a lot easier to effectively run your own node than encrypting all of your personal communication. And if you understand why encrypting your communication is important, you will definitely understand why running your own node is important. It's really, really important. Like I can't stress it enough. The question is, who says Vitalik can't answer that? Vitalik. Vitalik has stated on several occasions that you don't need to run a full Ethereum node, a full validating archive node. In fact, Vitalik was one of the people that like altered the definition of what a full node is. Prior to Vitalik, or people like Vitalik, there were full nodes and I guess SPV nodes, right? Or like not full nodes. But they changed the definition to what a full node is. And the old definition of a full node is now an archive node or an archive full node. Because they know that in Ethereum, running your own full node is almost impossible. But in Bitcoin, it's very, very possible. In fact, everyone should be doing it. But you should only do it if you kind of know what you're doing, and you should run your own full node. Right, great comment, DNI. Very well said, Tone. Also, as a business, it's very nice to run your own full node because you can set up your own payment provider. That's correct. So as a business, and not even as a business, as an individual, by running your own full node, ideally you have someone that understands backend of your websites and stuff. And you're running your own website on your own server. That server is also running your own full node. And now you can set up BTC Pay server, which is not really a server, at least to my understanding. So you can run BTC Pay. It's called BTC Pay server, but you can run like BTC Pay code in order to accept your own Bitcoin payments on your own server inside your own full node. And that is literally the definition of being your own bank. You're not actually your own bank by using Bitcoin. You are only your own bank by validating your own Bitcoin transactions with a Bitcoin full node. And that's what you should be trying to do. Tone, can you post a link to why and how to run a full node? That's the thing. It's very. I need to actually like do podcasts on this, but the best links that I have for you right now is if you go to tonevays.com and you go to the blog and you read the last article I wrote, which is Bitcoin decentralization. There are links there. They're right there. They're in the notes section of the reference, and they're referenced in the article. So here is an article. It's not the most technical article. Money is a social construct and why you should run a Bitcoin full node. This was written by a Bitcoin noob. This was written by someone that was watching this channel in 2017, and she wanted to understand why Bitcoin is Bitcoin and why she should not be using Bcash or Bitcoin forks. And it's a great article. And it's written by someone that barely understands Bitcoin. And that's why I like it, because she was able to understand why running a full node is so important. It's only one of 2 articles this person ever written, and she's not even in the Bitcoin space anymore. But it's someone that wanted to understand. And then right here is running your node. These are the two. These are the two. I'm pretty sure that if you look at the work of Michael Goldstein and Pierre Richard and Jimmy Song might have stuff, but an entire podcast on why you should run your own node is something that I really need to do. And like I said, we can chalk it up to me being lazy as to why it hasn't happened yet. I don't have a better answer. I don't have a better answer for you, other than understanding why you should run your own node is infinitely more important than where the price of Bitcoin is going. But I haven't done it yet. Tone, do you think Coldcard is the best hardware wallet? Yes, I do. And people at Trezor might hate me because they're friends of mine, and people at Ledger might hate me, even though I don't really know them. And a dozen other hardware wallets may hate me. But do I think Coldcard is the best hardware wallet? The answer is yes. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert, I'm not an expert at technological security of hardware wallets, but my non-expert opinion as to what is the best and most secure hardware wallet and best for privacy and best with your own full node, it's Coldcard, which was developed not to make money. Coldcard was developed because Rodolfo hated all the other hardware wallets, and he felt they were unsecure. So this is how Coldcard got developed, the same way BTC Pay Server got developed, because Nicolas Durier really got pissed at BitPay, and he basically said, if you're not going to do what the people need, I will build it. And that's exactly how Coldcard began. It didn't begin because somebody wanted to make money. It literally started because, well, if you guys aren't going to do it, I'll do it. Yeah. Be very, very careful with you can get don't put your keys, don't put your private keys into any website. I mean, that's just how you lose your Bitcoin. Coldcard versus Trezor. Look, I think Trezor is the most user-friendly hardware wallet there is, but it's a trade-off. Usability, best security. And Coldcard has the best security. All right, guys, I need to get going because I got to do that other show. I got to look into my trading account. I got to decide. See, understanding Bitcoin. This needs to be a podcast. And maybe next year, maybe that would be what's going to happen next year. I already stopped doing the law show. We barely do the news show. I'm still doing price shows every day. Maybe this channel will rebrand. I'm starting to care a little more about the future of Bitcoin, and my final contribution might be educating on how to properly use Bitcoin instead of, the clicks and the following of price. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm doing with my future yet. Right now, I'm dying to travel. Quarantine is killing me, and traveling vicariously through thumbnails. So there's going to be a lot more of these thumbnails. I can't wait to release them all so others can use them. They're going to be great. Yeah, Law Show was great, but it was a lot of work. it was a lot of work putting together, reading all of those articles, putting it together, producing it, constantly messaging with the lawyers to find a time where more than one of them is available. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of production, and for zero money, right? Like, I don't get paid. I don't do sponsors. So yeah, but I do need to find the time to do the Understanding Bitcoin podcast, and it's going to be a lot of work. Like, if I'm going to do a podcast explaining to people why a node is important, I need to know my shit. And I can't do a podcast as to why a node is important, because I'm going to say a couple of things, and then 100 people that know it better than me, even some shitcoiners, are just going to, talk about how dumb my statements are. So I need to, be ready to explain it properly. And I'm just not ready. The summary of this episode is, if you don't understand why you should run your own full node, the path to shitcoinery is in front of you. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.